So a few days ago, someone asked me what I've been up to lately, and I realized I didn't have a single impressive thing to say. I just stammered through vague explanation, and I could feel my face getting hot. It was this instant hit of shame. I mean, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just because I'm a grown adult, and suddenly I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I think that feeling is one of the strangest parts about leaving an old life behind. It doesn't matter if it's about a relationship that ended, a job that you left, or a version of yourself that you're done with. The hardest part isn't the big decision to leave, it's the small, everyday moments after. When someone casually asks, "What's new in your life?" when people expect certainty from you, or when everyone around you seems to be moving forward normally, and you feel like your whole identity is in between versions. We get so used to giving people an answer that sounds reassuring, but when life becomes uncertain, we panic a little and we don't know what to say. We try to make the transition look graceful, like we totally meant for things to unfold this way. But honestly, I think I spend more energy trying not to look lost than letting myself be new at something. And those are two very different things. Here's the thing, I actually had a YouTube channel years ago, so it wasn't the camera that scared me this time. It was the fact that I had nothing to hide behind anymore. No persona, no professional title, just me in my apartment trying to figure out my life in public. And that felt completely different. Because back then I was performing, but this time I'm showing up as myself. And I genuinely had no idea how uncomfortable that would feel. For years, I was good at what I did. I had a title that told people and myself that I was capable. And suddenly, I was back at zero. And then the mindfulness training that I'm doing humbled me even further because I thought I knew a lot and I've been practicing for years, but learning how to teach it, that's something completely different. And I had to sit with that. I think that's been the real transition for me lately, learning how to stop performing certainty while my life is still unfolding. There's a concept in Zen Buddhism called Shoshin, which translates to beginner's mind. And there's this quote by Shunryu Suzuki, who is a Zen master, that says, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few." I used to think that sounded beautiful in theory, but recently I've come to understand it in a much more personal way. I realized how tightly I was holding on to the old version of myself, the person who was always productive, certain, impressive, and clear about where they were going. And trying to hold on to that identity while your life is changing is very tiring. And at some point, I had to admit something I really didn't want to admit. I'm new here. I'm new to this version of life. I'm new to this season. I'm new to this whole experience. And transitions can feel painful because they force us back into beginnerhood. They empty everything familiar out of our hands before we feel ready. But you know what? Maybe that emptiness is what we need to move forward. One thing that's genuinely helped me lately is something called a self-compassion break. Whenever my mind starts attacking me, telling me I'm behind, I'm failing, or I'm wasting my time, I would pause for a moment and just try to speak to myself differently. First, I just acknowledge what's happening. This feels hard right now. I feel horrible, not fixing it, or pretending to be positive, just being honest. You'll notice that in mindfulness practices, one of the most important things is to not distract yourselves when you have negative thoughts, right? Is to just notice it, is to just accept and understand. Because, like I always say, that is the first step in understanding yourself, in developing self-compassion, and in moving forward with your life, is you need to accept what you're feeling. Then I remind myself that confusion and what I'm feeling is just part of being human. Everybody goes through seasons where they don't know what they're doing. Everybody falls behind in life sometimes, and everybody starts over at some point. You're not a broken anomaly. You're a regular human experiencing a universal human mess. And we all know that is the truth. And then finally, I asked myself this question: what do I need to hear right now? And most of the time, the answer is surprisingly simple. Usually, it's something like, you don't need to figure out your whole life today, or you're allowed to be new at this. And even that small shift changes something in me. Because the moment I stopped treating my uncertainty like a personal failure, I started breathing differently. And if you try this, then you can notice it for yourself. I know starting over is awkward, it's messy, clumsy, uncomfortable, and sometimes even a little embarrassing. And tomorrow morning, I'll probably wake up still not knowing fully where all of this is leading. But I don't think that means I'm failing anymore. I think this is just what it feels like to become someone new. Lately, whenever I feel frustrated with myself, I keep coming back to this one question: am I doing this because I care about it and because it's good for me, or because I'm trying to prove something to someone? And if the answer is I genuinely care about it, then maybe being bad at it for a while is okay. I think of it as the tax I have to pay for my peace and freedom. If you don't have the next 10 steps figured out yet, that's completely fine. I want to remind you that and remind myself as well. I just think some seasons of life are meant to live one step at a time. Well, that's what I have for you today. Thank you very much for sticking with me until the end. And I hope you found that helpful if you're going through life transitions of any kind. As always, take care of your heart, be present, be kind, and I will see you in the next video.